we're Bandhu Gardens. I'm Emily.
I'm Fatima.
And I'm Kirsten at Leilu Gardens and the Eye Collective.
And today we're making
pumpkin oatmeal chocolate chip muffin.
Yeah.
The first step is you have to cut open your squash so that you can roast it. So this is our squash here, and Fatima's going to use the da and show us how to do it.
We use the da to cut everything from pumpkins to coriander. And we bought this from Bangladesh when we came to America.
Wow.
So let's go cut.
Yeah, let's go.
So we're back with our half squash, and what we want to do is we want to save the seeds.
I have to do that.
So the next step.
Yeah, done.
And to get a puree like we're gonna use in our recipe, I cube the squash, take off the outer skin, and roast it in a 425-degree oven for around 30 minutes. And then you should have a thoroughly cooked squash. The next step is to blend it in a food processor, a regular blender, or sometimes I use a mashed potato masher, which is more fun but less effective. And then you get something that looks like this. And that is a beautiful autumn-colored pumpkin puree.
We've been using the words pumpkin, squash, interchangeably. Fatima, what do you call this in Bangla?
Hodu. Mishti hodu.
Mishti hodu. So mishti is sweet, hodu is squash. So you could use one of these Bengali style squash, or you could use a butternut squash, which is much more common. You can find it at any grocery store. You could even use canned puree if you don't have time to find a squash and cut a squash and use a squash and puree a squash.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fatima, how did you learn so much about gardening?
I learned so much things about gardening from my family.
Yeah, who else in your family gardens?
My mom, my grandma, my auntie, my whole family.
Yeah, so it sounds like a lot of women do the work.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then can you tell me about what is embroidered here on this blanket?
This is the this. This is made out of the bamboo thing. The basket.
And that motion that you're doing, that's how you save seeds, right?
Yeah, like we sort the seeds.
So the pumpkin seed is heavy enough that you don't need to sort it like that, but other seeds,
like the coriander or we do it mainly for the coriander. Yeah.
Yeah, so the coriander or the cilantro seed.
Oh yeah.
Right?
And the mustard seed, mustard seed.
The little, when you flip it like that, the seed is heavy and falls down, and all the little stems and leaves blow away, right?
Yeah.
So gardening is a huge part of Bengali culture, and it shows up in all kinds of places, like even in the sewing.
Yeah.
So we'll set the seeds aside. See you next year, seeds. And we'll start to mix our ingredients.
All right, so for the muffins, I'm gonna be starting out with 1/3 cup of sugar in a large bowl. To that, I'm gonna be using 2 eggs. And who grew these eggs?
Our chickens.
Would you help me crack this one? Just right into the bowl. Right, we got our 2 eggs. Thank you. All right, and we're gonna incorporate the eggs right into the sugar. All right, and then we're gonna add our lovely pumpkin that Fatima grew, and yep, and 1/2 cup of peanut butter. So essentially what we're doing is adding all of our wet ingredients, and then we're gonna combine the dry ingredients to form a batter. All right, again with the mixing. Thank you so much for growing this pumpkin.
So we grew this squash. Kirsten, do you have a garden too?
Yeah, actually I do. It's called Leilu Gardens, and Leilu is the Tlingit word for butterfly.
What type of things do you grow?
I grow a lot of things. My crops usually are indigenous crops to North America. So a lot of corn, squash, which we have here, and beans, perennial fruit, like Emily does, and really anything I can get my hands on. A lot of my seeds come from relatives or even my non-relative relatives like Emily. Oh. So to this mixture, we're gonna add 3/4 of a cup of any milk or milk alternative you have on hand. And then we are finally ready for our dry ingredients. Could you go ahead and pick up that bowl of oats? We got 2 cups of oats there. And we're gonna go all in at once.
Should I?
Oh yeah, just dump it right in. Thank you.
So it looks like there's no flour or anything in this recipe.
No, this is actually a gluten-free recipe and it can be dairy-free as well.
Awesome.
Yes. All right, for the good stuff, we've got our spices and our chocolate, of course. We've got a little bit of cinnamon, some nutmeg and allspice, baking powder, salt, and chocolate chips. This is really a nice one bowl recipe for when you don't feel like breaking out a bunch of dishes or washing them, at least for me. We're gonna let this set for about 5 minutes, and in the meantime, we're gonna go grab some of our equipment for baking them. We'll meet you back here. Okay, so we've let our batter rest for a little bit, and now it's time to put the batter into lined muffin tins. And the lining is for cleaning efficiency and also for portability. So you can take these anywhere. They make a great breakfast and also an afternoon snack, or heck, even dessert. So just evenly distribute the batter into these molds. I'm using a ice cream scoop for this, but you can use a spoon or whatever you got on hand is just fine.
Sometimes when you make muffins, you only put a little bit of batter in, but it looks like you're filling it all the way up.
Yeah, these muffins don't contain gluten, and so they have less structure to them, which means that you can fill them up without fear of them overflowing and escaping their
Awesome.
little containers. We're gonna finish them with a little bit of maple cream.
So we're back with our muffins out of the oven and completely cooled.
We're gonna finish them with a little bit of maple cream drizzle, just for a little bit of added sweetness. This is a completely natural sweetener, so it has all of its minerals intact.
Look how beautiful these are. Now let's dig in.
All right.
The maple is so nice.
So pumpkin-y and dense.
This does feel like breakfast and dessert.
And there you have it, pumpkin chocolate chip oatmeal muffins. Thank you so much, Fatima, for growing this and showing us how to process it.
And we can do it again next year since we saved all those seeds.
Wow.
I'm Emily.
I'm Fatima.
And I'm Kirsten.
Thanks for cooking with us.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.